General Dave Yost, Bureau of Criminal Investigation. For the Identification Division, including information about background checks, please press 1. For the Investigations Division, including cyber crimes, please press 2. The Laboratory Division, please press 3. Welcome to the Investigations Division of the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation. For crime scene investigation, please press 1. For the Special Investigations Unit, press 2. For the BCI radio room.
Yeah, I need to speak to one of the investigators, please.
Which investigator?
The one, whoever's there right now, I don't know who's there.
Well, no one's here. None of our agents work in the field, and they're not on an on-call basis.
Well, I mean that's what. Okay, that's what I was told to call. Okay, who's your guys' supervisor?
My supervisor specifically?
Yes, your supervisor. Yes.
Like of the communications room here?
Yes. I need to speak with your supervisor.
Well, he's also not here. There's a pandemic, and he's working from home.
Well, I mean, can you leave my number? I mean, I need him to contact me, or someone. I need to speak to somebody there because.
Well, what are you calling about? I can get someone that would be, everyone here is specialized. So I need to know what you're calling about to get you the right people.
Well, I mean, I need to talk to an investigator. I mean, there's several conflicts. We got problems with the sheriff's department in Southern Ohio because they've with police brutality and assaults and stuff like that. But then there's also another case. There was a kidnapping in Ohio, and the sheriff's office won't report it. And there's a lot of conflicts going on. There's several.
You're not giving me a lot of information. What are you calling from? Can you tell me that?
I live in Kentucky. Okay, I work for Ryder Cash News. I'm calling because, just like for example, there was a black person that was just found dead in West Virginia, and the last place he was at was in the jailhouse in Southern Ohio. And then also I was wanting to talk to the investigator about a few other assaults by the same sheriff's department. And there's a case in Southern Ohio, and it involves a child from Kentucky and a father and a family from Kentucky. And they're not reported. They're not taking. They're not filing. They're not taking any police reports. I'm sorry, I couldn't get it out.
Okay.
They're not filing any police reports, and
sure.
It looks like organized crime to me. I mean, it's pretty messy.
Okay. Well, we don't have anyone here that you can just talk to like that. BCI doesn't actually take public calls. What we do is we work in conjunction with local law enforcement, and anything we get involved in, they have to call us first. That said, the main Attorney General's office might be able to help you out. There's a civil rights section there that might be able to look into something like this.
Yeah, the families filled out, the complaints against, the government officials over there in Southern Ohio where this case is at and stuff. But here's the thing. Well, here's the thing though. The same police department or sheriff's department who is committing the crimes, who is not making the police reports. There's one sheriff's deputy who actually lied in court, and there's just a lot of troubling factors in this case. But what I'm trying to get at, they're not going to call BCI and request you guys to investigate them. I mean, that's absurd.
Right, and in which case we can't get involved that way then.
See, I don't think Ohio voters know that, because think about how insane that is, though. That means that sheriffs and prosecutors, because it's the same way with prosecutor's office, that means they can commit crimes and nothing will ever happen unless they call and they tell on themselves and request a special counsel.
They would have to go through another agency, not BCI. BCI is very specialized. We have other state agencies that would be able to look over them.
What other agency? There's no oversight.
The main Attorney General's office, the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation, and the Supreme Court has investigators that keeps track of prosecution.
Right,
Ohio doesn't have a state police force.
Right, I understand that, but I'm just saying though, how can you get anything looked into if they're the ones who have to request for your help though? I mean, you don't think
what they BCI doesn't? We're not oversight of local law enforcement. That's not our function.
But
What we do is
there is no
we
oversight.
just assist them in their investigations. The oversight comes from the Attorney General's office and the Ohio Supreme Court.
Right, but they're not doing their job, obviously. And let me tell you one more thing.
And again, I don't work there, so I can't comment on that. I can only tell you what I do.
Let me ask you this about BCI: if there's a murder, okay,
Yeah.
and there's proof and evidence, and a murderer can be taken off the street tomorrow, and make the community better, would BCI not look into taking a murderer off the streets, or would
not without an official request from local law enforcement?
Man,
that is how BCI was created in our law. That is just what it is.
But let me ask you one more question. I'll let you go. If it's involved an officer of the law, a law enforcement official, let me ask it again. Would BCI still not take a murderer off the street, or would they just leave a murderer on the street?
Request from a local law enforcement agency would.
But that's the thing. If the department looked the other way because one of their deputies was involved, would BCI not take a murderer off the street, or would they just leave a murderer on the street? I mean, I'm serious. I mean, there's a private investigation.
We have to get the request from any local law enforcement agency.
So let me
not just the one involved, but your prosecutor, your township police, your sheriff's office, your city police, anyone who's sworn.
Here's the problem with that, though, sir, and I won't keep you long. But the problem with that is, if you have an official or two that looks the other way, or they're involved, or whatever the case, then BCI is pretty much saying. Then BCI is just saying, well, that's just how it is. When if there's a murderer on the street, that murderer has to be taken off the street. It doesn't matter for what reason. And BCI must change their policy, but I'm going to try to make voters aware of this because somebody's got to do
You have to go to the right place. BCI is just not the right place for that.
But, sir,
it's like going to a butcher and asking for a cake. That's just not what we do.
There is no right place. Attorney General Yost's office doesn't do their job.
Yes.
No one wants, because it's a controversial case, but it's not really. I mean, it takes a murderer off the street with eyewitnesses. I mean, there's eyewitnesses.
I don't know how else I can tell you what I've already said, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just want to make voters aware of it. I appreciate it. I'm doing a story on the matter. Thank you.
You're welcome. You have a good day.
You too.